This tool here does what would take me 2, 3, even 4 hours to do. If you think about it, maybe even 6, right? Depending on the content I'm going to create and all that, doing research, looking for headline ideas or preparing the SEO. Man, that stuff it would take me forever, right? So how do I make my blog post here? Nowadays, I use this right here. This tool of mine, right? I call it the blog machine. So I decided to launch it because I think it's a useful tool. Since I've been working with blogs since 2006, and until now I didn't have any tool that did this kind of thing for me, that didn't automate my whole process. I always ended up relying on third-party tools to do it, like plugins and so on, Even so, I don't think ChatGPT was really good for that. But then, man, so what did I do here? I'm going to show you how the tool works, okay? I'll give you a really quick overview and you'll understand how it works, alright? Here's how it works. Every X hours, I set it up to extract content ideas from my clients. Actually, not my clients, my competitors. Okay. So, my competitors have an RSS feed. It goes through a spreadsheet. It extracts the title and checks that that same title is already in the spreadsheet. If not, if it already is, it will just ignore it. If there are any identical ideas, it'll save these new ideas. Alright, now here, it's going to do the preparation. It will fill out the spreadsheet for me automatically, okay? So I don't have to do any of that. No chasing after ideas or anything like that. What is it going to do? Every X hours as well, right? I set another kind of schedule. It will go to my spreadsheet, check what ideas are there, and classify my title, okay? And here I told it which CTAs to use, Why? Well, I work with about 4 different CTAs, right? What is a CTA? It's a call to action where I set a link for a partner, an affiliate, or even a link to one of my own products for that content, right? So, like, if the content is from a certain category, then it's a certain product. If it's from category, this or that, then it's this or that category, and so on, right? Alright, so it'll go through here, pick one of the CTAs, and then come here to plan the post. And how does he plan the post? He'll fill out, the category part and everything else, alright. And he'll leave everything organized here. Okay, he planned the post, left it ready for me, alright. But he still hasn't published it. He hasn't done it, hasn't created the structure, he hasn't done any of that yet. So now, how is he going to do this part? He'll come to this third part. So we've gone through 2 steps, and now he'll come to a third part, which is another X, right? I could very well make it a sequence, but I chose not to make it so overwhelming. I set it up to do it at certain times, How does it work? Every few hours, it will go through, take a row from that spreadsheet, the one that's still pending for me, create the post, check if all the inputs are filled out, grab the sitemap from my site. And if you don't know what a sitemap is, it's all the links to posts on my site. It'll organize them here. I set a certain number for it to fetch. And here it's going to create the whole structure and the prompts that will generate my post. Okay. So basically, it's a prompt that creates another prompt, right? And it will handle all that structural counting. So all the manual work you would have to do here, you'll do it here, okay? You'll set up this structure, decide on the number of sections, chapters, and so on, right? After going through all of that, it will generate all these prompts to create the content, make the images, and keep everything organized. It will create a folder in your drive, okay? You can choose a folder in your drive, whatever you prefer, right? And it will keep everything here, separate all the information from my post, and here it will generate a featured image. This AI we're using here is a free AI, okay? So you don't have any costs. If you want to try out a paid AI, That's up to you. It doesn't matter. It won't interfere, okay? But here you can use a free AI that will generate a very high quality image, okay? And here there's a trick. There's an image resize here, okay? And here in the image resize, you can choose the format of your image, okay? Here I chose 800 by 800 and set it as WebP, which is lighter. My server accepts WebP, but there are servers that don't. So that's fine, okay? You can use JPG, okay? And you'll leave it set aside here. Look, you'll leave it on standby. Alright, after the standby, it'll scroll down here and generate the images for my chapters, okay? Now, same AI, same thing. It will save it in the folder. See, it left it saved in the folder here. It will also take this resize, which you can also modify, and it will upload these chapter images, right? And it will create the loop. If there are 3 images for chapters, right? I mean 3 chapters, it will run this loop 3 or 4 times. You get it? After that, it will move on to content creation, right? Where it will take the sitemap that's here, put it in here, and create the content. And it will insert internal links within my site, within my post, right? So this content here will cover all of that, okay? So it's very simple, very easy, and really fast. This part here, right? It will generate content. And here I can choose whichever LLM I want. I chose to use a multifunctional LLM, right? One that has multiple AIs, you know? So I can pick one that fits, that matches my profile better, okay? Here in this case, right? I'm using Quinn, which is one of the cheapest AIs out there and has around 72 billion parameters. So for creating content, that's excellent, okay? Alright, and here it will, after it finishes writing the number of chapters that was set for it, it will leave the neatly separated here. It will combine these articles and build the structure like, oh, I want a section, oh, introduction, section 1, section 2, section 3, chapter, you know, and so on, okay? And it will also, put together the conclusion and the CTA, the one we created earlier in the previous flow, all right? And here, all good. Here we can. It's going to do the part from Markdown to HTML, right? It'll finish in Markdown, then convert it to HTML, and here it's going to save this document, this written post, inside a doc on the drive. In your drive, okay? It will save this doc here, publish it on WordPress, and combine these 2 parts here. It will upload the featured image, handle the metadata part, that is, the information written in the featured image, and here, look, it will separate it as set feature per post, alright. And here it will set the excerpt and the category, right? Alright, here I left it deactivated. Why? Because this is a template that we're going to use. After 7 days, I'll also give you access to the SEO Pro plugin and also the plugin we use to connect SEO and send this meta description, the part for Google, right, which would be like this, the title, the subtitle there, and a snippet of your post's description, right? So it can stay there and give you a score, okay? Here, look, after finishing, it will save this information here in the spreadsheet as published, okay? And that cycle is finished, right? So for you to understand how the spreadsheet works, here we have the title, the idea, right, which is the reference title, keywords, target audience. So you can see that every time it analyzes the target audience. These here are posts that are still going to be created, you know? They haven't gone through the spreadsheet yet. And here is the amount of, introduction, anyway, this is the number of chapters, introduction, conclusion. Here is the writing style, right, which it will also generate, even the writing style itself, and it will define what the category would be, right? Here we have the category name and the category ID, right? So that's it. And here is our CTA, the CTA link, and about the site, right? And here it's waiting. These are posts pending, posts waiting, and up there are the published ones. Look, they're published. All right? And here, this is the result, right? I'm going to show you the result, yeah, from some post here, okay? I'm going to grab here, close this site that's already monetizing. Even though it's 100% made with AI, we have a comprehensive post here. Look, with a 9-minute read, right? Got it? Here, 11:54 at night. I wouldn't be awake at this hour to be posting, right? So this here is basically working at night, right? It works in the middle of the night, for in the morning. 10 winter plants to grow and heal your home. The magic of medicinal plants. Look at the quality of the image from the free AI, right? Just look at this quality. It's a free AI, see? Here it is. Look, it generated this image. It keeps writing, see? Here it gave me the 10 plants I wanted, right? I didn't say I wanted 10 plants. It decided that. I didn't choose the number. And here, look, top 10 plants for winter, then rosemary, basil. It keeps this consistency. So, it's a 9-minute read post, just so you know, right? And it's always good for you to check the posts, okay? Here I'm not even checking, because the AI can end up making mistakes. Since I'm using a very cheap AI, there might be some mistakes or something like that. So, it's always good for you to take a look. If it looks like a Portuguese mistake anyway, you might just let it slide. So you can, pay attention to that detail, you get it? So I think the only work you really have is checking if your post looks good or if it looks bad or weird, But just look at the size of these posts, right? They're really big and comprehensive, okay? Let me just go back here. Okay, let me go back to the homepage again. And that's it. Look, I'll pick one here that has people in it. There you go. So you can see how it generates. Look, n8n, identify constipation. Check it out. Little baby, some medicine, you see? Here it's probably talking about something to do with laxatives, right? And so on. And that's it. Guys, if you like this bot, I'm selling it in pre-sale for 97 reais. I'll raise the price. If the price is different, it's because I've raised it. So take advantage and get in on the pre-sale. Our support group is there to help. If you don't have support, we'll help you too, okay? Don't worry about that. My bot has already been working for more than. In the last 3 months, man, I've put a lot of updates into it, You get it? So I've been working with blogs since 2006. And this was always a pain point for me. I think it's probably your pain point too, right? So yeah, I hope to see you there, alright?